time to talk about Teryx. It has an incredibly loyal following in the outdoor community, bordering on cult status. I'm not going to make any arguments that Teryx is not an amazing piece of outerwear. In fact, I'll go and say it's the best outerwear on the market. Patagonia, I think, is a close second. It really is good. But the question is it worth the price? And if it is so good, how come I don't wear it? If it wasn't already pretty clear, I take outerwear pretty seriously. For me, it's safety equipment, and so I don't skimp on outerwear, but I also don't spend Teryx money on outerwear. You could make the argument that my dry suit, which is Gore-Tex and was pretty expensive, is in that same sort of realm. That's a Kokatat product. And some people refer to the Kokatat users as Cult Kokatat or Club Kokatat. There's a very loyal following, but nothing like the following that Teryx has. So the questions are Teryx jackets worth the price? What makes them different? And why don't I wear one? So, are they worth the price? I think that's debatable a little bit. They are, as I said, without a doubt, the best outerwear on the market. But it's a lot of money. $400, $500, $600 for a jacket. That's a lot of money. So I think if you're outdoors a lot, like me, I think it probably makes sense. I know a lot of outdoor educators. We don't make a lot of money. A lot of outdoor educators that I know wear Teryx and swear by their Teryx and have no problem with the concept that it is a little culty. So super popular. Part of that is that they give people who work in the outdoor industry a really good pro deal. And so as an outdoor educator, I have the ability to pro deal directly from manufacturers, and once a year, Teryx offers up 75% off. I think it might even be 75% off wholesale, but it's a very, very steep discount for their jackets. And the point of that for them is that they want us, people who are teaching people in the outdoors, to be seen wearing their products. It's an endorsement, essentially. If you've watched this video, I am not a billboard part 2. You know that I don't sort of play into that game. I'm not a big fan of that game, but that's besides the point. So is it worth it? I think it probably is. The next question is, why is it that much money? So the first thing that you might say is, well, you know, it's a great waterproof, breathable jacket. So it's using Gore-Tex. So of course it's waterproof and breathable. The jacket I was just wearing used Gore-Tex. The exact same Gore-Tex that's in an Teryx jacket, but the jacket I was wearing was $250, not $450. So it's not the Gore-Tex alone. It's important to understand that there are different versions of Gore-Tex. Most of the Teryx jackets are using Gore-Tex Pro Shell, which I think is what the jacket I was wearing was using, was Gore-Tex Pro Shell. And they're constantly evolving and upgrading that. And using Gore-Tex over another fabric or another membrane to make your jacket waterproof and breathable is more expensive because it's a well-known brand. It's got a great reputation. And so the companies that use Gore-Tex have to pay a fee, a substantial fee, to buy that fabric and then to use that fabric. Gore-Tex might ship the newer versions, the most updated versions of their products to a company like Teryx first, but eventually they're going to end up in REI jackets like the one I was just wearing. Everyone will end up with them. And it's also important to know that a lot of companies make their own versions of Gore-Tex. So Patagonia uses H2 No Storm, which is their own waterproof, breathable membrane. North Face used to use a product called High Vent, which is now called Dry Vent. It's the same sort of thing. It's their version of a waterproof, breathable membrane. I'm a big fan of jackets that use E-Vent. For a long time, I used an E-Vent shell jacket that I absolutely loved. I swear by the concept that it is actually more breathable than Gore-Tex. And we still see E-Vent in a lot of products, but it's not used in jackets all that often. So there are lots of other options besides Gore-Tex, and Gore-Tex is the most expensive. So that is going to drive the price up a little bit. But as I said, my jacket used the same Gore-Tex fabric that's used in $700, $800 Teryx jackets, so that's not the answer. Part of the answer is design, and this is a two-part answer. So you're going to see things like zipper garages and higher quality seam taping and waterproof zippers, things like that, helmet compatible hoods that really work. So a lot of times if you put on a hood on a shell jacket and turn your head, your face is looking at the side of the hood. Whereas on an Teryx jacket, it's designed to work and move with you. So when you turn your head, the hood turns with you, and you're not looking at the side of your hood. Your head is still protected by the hood, but you can see to your sides. So it's things like that, really nice design cues that work really well in jackets. And that's part of what you're getting in terms of design. But the other part that we need to talk about is the concept of panels. Jackets are made up of panels. The more panels you have, the better a jacket is going to fit you and move with you as you move. The bad part about panels is that each of those panels needs to be stitched and seam sealed. And the more panels, the more stitching, the more seam sealing, the higher the cost to produce that jacket. And that's really a big part of what makes Teryx so expensive. My REI jacket is probably made up of 15 or 18 panels of fabric that align the jacket, whereas an Teryx jacket might be 25 panels. Particularly things like the hood, the shoulders, the arms will have more panels than a less expensive jacket. And so that's going to drive that price up a fair amount as well. Are they marking up their prices just for the luxury aspect of it? I don't know. They've been expensive for a long time. As I look at their products, their jackets started around $350, but quickly jump higher. The Beta AR and the Alpha AR, AR stands for all around use, so that's the jacket sort of designed for everyone. Two really popular jackets. Those are $600. The Alpha SV, SV stands for severe conditions, is $850. So those jackets are essentially the same. The SV version of the Alpha has a more articulated cut, so it's going to fit a little bit better, and it's got a slightly thicker membrane to make it a little bit more durable. Is that a $250 difference? It could easily be with the more panels to make the jacket fit better and be more articulated. So that brings me to the third question. Why don't I wear it? If the jackets are that good, and I've said that they are, why don't I wear it? So I bought a new rain shell jacket just a few months ago. I tried on an Teryx jacket, and it was really beautiful, but there were two reasons I didn't buy it. The first is I couldn't really justify the price. There was not a Mega Pro Deal option for me available at that time. The other thing was sort of more psychological. I don't want to show up at a class where I teach mostly novices and have them see me in an $800 jacket. I don't want them to think, oh, if I'm going to be serious about this, I need to spend $800 on a jacket. And so for me, that's the main reason, is I think that you can do the stuff that I do in the outdoors just fine in a $200 jacket. And the proof of that is that I'm doing it. So great product, worth the price, probably. Is it worth it for everyone? Probably not, but still a great jacket. If you have thoughts on this, leave a comment below. I'm curious if you're active in the outdoors, if you're wearing Teryx or if you're wearing something else. And is it price that's holding you back, or is it something else that's holding you back from buying those jackets? Hit like, hit subscribe. I'm teaching privately in the Norfolk area now. So if you want to do a lesson, reach out to me, Brett@adventureotaku.com. My books are on Amazon. Buy me a cup of coffee. Link is down below. I'll see you outside. Okay, if you stuck around this long, here is a quick little story about Teryx. I finished up a WFA. This was probably 3 years ago. I finished up teaching a WFA in Lower Manhattan in Soho, and I had a half a day before my flight home, and so I was walking around Soho, and I used to live not far from there, so I walked by some stores that I used to like. I got myself a cup of coffee on Sunday morning. I got a bagel, which is what you have to do, and I went to the Patagonia store in Soho on Wooster Street, which I think I saw had moved and wasn't there anymore, but across the street was an Teryx store that did not used to be there. And so I went in, and it's Soho, it's the land of high fashion, and this Teryx store was just like any of the other high fashion stores in Soho. There were like 4 employees, there were no customers, there were racks with like the full rack would have like 3 items on it, like perfectly hanging, gorgeous. And I walked through and I looked at the products, and the gear is beautiful. And I walked out and into Soho, and I was thinking to myself, God, who in Lower Manhattan is buying an Teryx jacket? And as I thought that, a Ferrari drove past me. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Soho, a lot of the streets, and this street in particular, was cobblestone. If you're familiar with Ferraris, you know that there's really no point driving them on cobblestones. It's very bumpy and just there's no reason. And so it occurred to me, I was like, well, the people that are buying Teryx here are the same people that are buying Ferraris here. They're doing it because they can, not because they need one. Okay, thanks for sticking around for this extra little bit. I don't know how many people stay for the whole thing, but I like that story, but wanted to add it on to the end. All right, I'll see you later. Bye.